everybody, Gina DeLuca here. All right, today I am set up for a straight pour, my favorite, and I'm going to be doing neutral colors today. You know, sometimes I love those crazy bright ones, and today we are doing something neutral. The colors that we are working with for my base coat slash background, I have a mixture of Liquitex Basics in Raw Umber, Artist Loft in Burnt Umber, and a bit of titanium white. And then that gives me this color here, which is a kind of a milk chocolatey color. I have the Decoart Americana Decor, the matte metallics in aged bronze, the regular metallics in soft gold, and matte metallics in ivory pearl. So you can see this makes a very nice neutral color palette, very soft. Satchmo is playing, so if you hear rustling, that's what that is. These paints have been mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. That mixture is then thinned with my concoction of 90% water and 10% Floetrol until I get the proper consistency, which is, it's about a 2 on my consistency scale. It makes a mound, but it disappears quickly. If I weren't using metallics, I could go down to a 1, but because I'm using the metallics and you want your paints to be the same consistency, metallics are just going to be a thicker consistency in general because it has mica flakes in it. And if you go too thin with metallics, it will just make a film on the top of your painting, which can be very cool if you're going for like a sky effect. But for what we're going for today, I want my cells to hold up. I want them to blend. I'm hoping for the Boulder type cells, I'm actually going to do this as a slow ring pour. And so I hope to get that like rose effect. We'll see what happens. You know how it goes in this particular medium. Just because that's your intention doesn't mean that's what you're going to end up with. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards. Each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube. That's the picture of that particular painting in that video. There's this box here that has a little tip for that particular technique, and that is the color palette that was used with that particular painting. And then these 2 boxes can be used as the basis of a 2-color palette or a 2-color pour, or you can build off of those 2 colors. There are also 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one has 5 color palettes. You can use all of the colors or just use some of the colors. Mix and match these color palettes with the 42 techniques, and you have thousands upon thousands of combinations. You will never run out of inspiration, and they can also be used for other art forms. The color palettes can be used for crochet or beadwork or alcohol inks or decorating your house. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and also they are now available at amazon.com. The first thing I'm going to do is put some paint in the cup. I like to do this to make sure that I don't run out of paint for my pour. Satchmo just opened the door to the pantry. Satchmo, get out of there. Okay. Satchmo has been removed from the pantry. I'm going to put some paint in this cup. And if there is some left over, I may add it to the top of this cup, but for now, we're going to put down the base coat. Tried to reserve a bit. We'll see. I may need to pour more out. If you find that you have your base coat color popping up in tiny cells after you pour, it might be because you have bubbles in your base coat, and then when you go to pop your poured paints, the bubbles from your base coat finally pop. So you might want to just give that a little once over, get rid of those bubbles before you pour. Just to eliminate that from being an issue. Now I'm going to pour some paint in a cup. And I'm going to pour from up high. I want these paints to blend. Always double check your consistency before you pour because it can thicken up on you a bit. This seems to be just fine. And those who watch me frequently, you know that I like to have my first color, that is a cell maker, be similar to the color that is my background. It just adds a kind of depth that I like. So that's how I'm doing it. First that aged bronze and now the soft gold. Consistency is still good. Pouring from up high, allowing that to blend. The more these cell makers sink, the more likely I am to get cells. And the ivory pearl last. Oh, this is setting up beautifully. My colors sank for the most part. I'm just going to add a bit of this base color on top gently. Just making sure all of those colors are sinking. And I need a full cup here, so it works out. But a lot of times what happens is when I have my cell makers sitting on top, when I first pour it, that's the color that comes out first, so that's the color that ends up on the edges. And sometimes I wind up having to tilt off some of the best stuff to get coverage. So I'm hoping that by covering this up gently, that this color will be more on the outside and also helping to create those cells. So make sure I'm in camera's view. And again, I'm going to pour slowly here at first. And then I am just doing very slow circles. Doesn't look like much is happening, but I have a feeling it will. And I'm going to reverse direction here for a little bit and go back the other way. Sometimes that really helps give you that rosy center. slower and closer to the canvas as you get close to the end of the cup. That will give you more control. Oopsie, messed it up. That's okay, because we will just take our skewer and fix the center before we tilt. No biggie. Okay, as you can see, there's already cells popping up. As I let this sit, more will pop up. I'm gonna pop these bubbles. It creates a lot of bubbles, this technique. Do not get too close to the canvas. You don't want to scorch your paint. I'm going to be very patient here. I'm going to let this do what it's going to do a bit. Cells will pop up. Now, as I stretch this, more cells will pop up. That is just the nature of the straight pour. What direction do I want to go? All right, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. Usually I go for the corners, but I'm just going to stretch this a bit, not even going to tilt it off. Just stretching it. And I'm going to bring it back to center, stretch it to the other side, and again, I will not be tilting any of the pour off. I may lose some of the base coat, that's okay. Bringing it back to center again. The weight of your paint is where it is moving the fastest. If you are aware of the weight of your paint, it will really help you to control your composition. Again, not tilting it off, just giving it a good stretch, and now coming across to the other side. Just almost to the edge, but not off. And what this is doing is helping me to stretch this pour and maximize my cell action. And bring the weight of the paint back to center, and now I'm gonna go for the corners. I just don't know if I'm ready to tilt it off yet. I really want to maximize these cells. Bringing the weight back to center before changing directions. And now I will do this corner close to me. And I think I'm ready to tilt it off now. I will tilt off a bit, and then I'm not worried about getting perfect coverage on those corners. Back to this side. This is going to really give it a good stretch. If you are mindful about the weight of your paint, it will really help you keep your composition where you want it. It will help you, oh poo, get over there. It will help you to get those nice big boulder cells with that 3D action. But also help you keep the composition of your center, which is generally where your eye is going to be pulled. So you want to make sure that where your eye is resting looks good. And I do think I want to try to straighten this corner out a bit, because it's going to help me stretch that top area too. I'm getting massive boulder cells here. This is super cool. Don't be sad that cells are getting tilted off, because they will get stretched and more will pop up. That is the beauty of this technique. Okay, I think that is it. I don't normally like for my focal point to be right in the center. I just want this, my center to not be perfectly centered. Okay, I am going to leave this alone. I like what's happening. Getting some cool Boulder cells. Awesome 3D action. More cells will probably pop up as it sits. So I'm gonna let it sit and do what it's due. And I will clean up and bring you in for a close-up. Back in a few. Okay, here it is in all of its sparkling glory. This is a stunner. Tons of 3D Boulder cells. The flash on this is gorgeous. And when you're viewing it from certain angles, it has a more subdued look, like from the side. But when it catches that light, it is really something else. Let's see if I can get some details for you there. Lots of 3D action. That looks like a face. Like a Ninja Turtle, maybe. But super cool Boulder cells going on there. I love when those colors blend and you get those multicolor cells. That really gives it that 3D effect. But there it is. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do click the like button and subscribe if you have not already. But, you know, liking and sharing and all that good stuff helps me stay alive in the YouTube algorithm. 'Tis not an easy thing. That is more the color that I'm actually seeing. It does have a tendency to kind of skew those colors a bit. But, yeah. So, do like, share, and subscribe. Check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined. My affiliate links, you can find links to Blick, Arteza, and Amazon, and if you use those links, anything that you purchase off of those websites, I receive a small commission of at no additional cost to you. Also, you will find the link to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. And also in the description box, you will find the link to our Facebook group, Go Make Some Art. Join us there, post your masterpieces, ask your questions, get some inspiration. All right, well, I guess that's it for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.